Welcome to the Big Picture Film Club. My guest today is a returning guest, our second returning guest, Anthony Vander, writer, director, and producer, and also actor, actually. You may know him from Housemates, his short film Spa, and recently his short film Finale. So we are joined with him today. And so, Anthony, how are you doing?
Yeah, good. Thank you for having me back. Yeah, I'm doing well. I'm doing well. Winding down for the holidays.
I appreciate
But
that.
it's been quite a busy time at the moment. Just doing the promotion for Finale. Also working on new projects. So yeah, things are going well. Things are good.
Um, like I think we've been talking for like a number of years now, and it's kind of been really interesting to see your progression, how you've got like how you've grown, what direction you've kind of gone with projects. Um, I don't know if I've ever asked, but like how, like what got you into filmmaking and acting in the first place? Well, more so filmmaking, because I'd say that that's what you sort of lead with. But yeah, how did you? What was your start?
Filmmaking. I actually was. I used to work. It's funny. I worked as an usher at the British Film Institute
Oh wow, cool.
for a number of years before going to be a film tutor there, and you know, progressing there before leaving. But so that was an education into kind of us. Obviously, they've got films from all over the globe. Um, so that was one of the inspirations, but the main inspiration was watching the films of Alan Clark,
Okay.
Made in Britain, Scum, The Firm, and not necessarily. It was the way that he worked with actors,
Mm.
and I read his book. I think it's Alan Clark on Alan Clark, and it's just the way kind of how he incorporated a lot of improvisation, and there was a freedom that he kind of implemented in the acting, and it shows within the films. So seeing that, it kind of inspired me to make my first short, which was called Hooligan.
Mm.
And we made that for 300 quid.
Oh
And
wow,
I
nice.
remember hiring the equipment and carrying it down the road
Mm.
um, from where I used to live like 11 years ago, and not knowing a thing, but it was just being excited. I didn't know about the gaffer, the lighting, hardly knew about cinematography, but what I did have was that foundation from my acting career,
Mm.
and also from what I had seen and what I'd read, and it gave me an energy to kind of pursue it further. Um,
So
but
you
before then,
acted first. You're an actor first before.
I was an actor first, and
Okay.
then I directed plays as well. So I put them on. I put them on in like theatre pubs,
Mm.
but I also I put two on at the Roundhouse, and yeah, a lot of the actors, and we got a lot of casting directors to come down and watch it, and they were like, you're actually pretty good at this." Uh,
Nice.
I was, I was like, what? So what? I'm not good at the acting, but they were like, no, this is something that you should pursue further. Um, but it was something I enjoyed as well. I actually love the process of directing actors, of working with a crew, and then yeah, that's pretty much how I got into it,
Mm.
through the love of film, the love of filmmakers, but also kind of just that relationship with creatives.
And really, kind of from the start, then let's fast forward all the way to present day. I'm sure we'll track back in throughout the conversation. Your most recent film, Finale. What is that about? So could you kind of share some words of sort of wisdom about kind of the inspiration behind the film?
Yeah, the film is so it's kind of set in present day, and I mean, to kind of sum it up, it's about finding creativity during adversity. Um, So I don't really. I mean, you could kind of say it was a kind of quote unquote pandemic film or a COVID movie because it's set within today's era and it does engage with it and the topic of um, how we're responding to this new world.
Hmm.
Um, but at the core of it, for me, it's about how we find creativity during adversity. I know a lot of people that struggled with that, in particular myself. But I wrote the film about 4 weeks after recovering from pretty severe COVID myself, which was last October.
Uh-huh.
Um,
Okay.
so that was really the that kind of spurred me on to create this project. But it's about two sisters, and they're just reflecting about this time right now,
Hmm.
um, but also pursuing their creativity. One's a dancer, and the other's a violinist, and yeah, they're sisters, and yeah, it's how we respond to adversity, but also how we interpret it as well. That's the kind of really the best way I can sum it up.
Um, and kind of thinking to your start where you're talking about like you didn't know what cinematography is, you didn't kind of understand like the need for a gaffer and whatnot. Like um and the film's really well produced, it's well made, and again, I've seen your journey, so I guess kind of stepping in, and you've done feature length films, you've produced and you've directed. How have you been able to sort of how do you feel you've been able to sort of take control of that filmmaking process, or have more of an understanding of what's sort of required to get what's in your head onto the screen? And what advice, I guess, would you give similar aspiring filmmakers in your position?
I think it's a really good question. I think it's about having a lot of dialogue with fellow creatives.
Hmm.
I think there's always something you can learn. And I've always said this, that I feel that, I mean, even though like I've progressed, I always have a kind of, when I approach a project, I have that mentality of kind of a student because I'm eager to learn. I'm eager to kind of, I'm that sponge that wants to just grab
Hmm.
kind of that information. So dialogue, whether whether it's through producers, other filmmakers that are on a similar journey to you, or that have gone on to do things that you might want to. I think it's important to reach out for them, and never believe that that is out of reach. If that means even contacting, you know, an Oscar-winning filmmaker,
Hmm.
someone that you is on a pedestal that you look up to, they are never out of reach. So I would say it's that idea of really kind of sourcing information and knowledge. I would also say have that self-belief kind of, that whatever story that you are telling, that you have that all those bases covered,
Hmm.
um, and really just using that confidence to kind of push you forward to get it made, because there's so many times where it's kind of, you have one project in mind and then you're thinking about the other project, and then you're thinking about, it's like, no, you just stay with the one for now and try and get that done and believe
Yeah.
that is the one, and then you can kind of move on to the others. So I think there's that. um there's so many things in there, but I think it's that thing about action. I think action's really important. It, we can kind of, you have to talk to kind of communicate and to pitch it, but it's kind of, there comes a point when you actually have to kind of put the gloves on and get it made.
Yeah.
So I think that's really one of the first things, is take action, um, on 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 your story, and be open, be transparent as well. Be transparent to a lot of the scripts, especially like Finale. The actors, they took it and made it their own. There's a lot that's in the film that wasn't in the script, which we found through improvisation. So that's always something that I've worked with,
Mm.
because it allows kind of the actors to follow their impulses. Same with the cinematography as well.
Mhm.
There's a lot that Jed, I had Zooms with Jed and we talked in person about how I wanted the vision to be. But it's when you come on set, it's never always how you envision it. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah,
Like
yeah.
it kind of it goes it goes further and it progresses. So it's kind of yeah. But I think one of the main things is the belief system in action. I think those are the two main things. And I never feel like you can get it wrong. If it's not if the project isn't how you want it to be, or it doesn't turn out, or there's growth in that. Because I've
Mhm.
had that a million times with even projects that people, they might like. I was like, no, I could have done better. But it's like, no, you got it done. Do you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah.
And it's like, you how can you use that for the next? So there's a lot in there, but I think belief and action. If you've got belief and you've got action and you've got that support network, which you have to find, then I think the things will happen. Great things will happen. I've always believed that, and it's worked for me so far. So I think it can work for many aspiring or current filmmakers.
Yeah.
Um, yeah.
Um, I I guess like now we're kind of like I would say a few years into the sort of diversity and inclusion sort of conversation, and I think everyone, at least in the industry, kind of knows what the problems are and what
Mm,
remedies are needed, so on and so forth.
mm,
Um, and just thinking about particularly like black talent who have gone to the States, and I've recently seen like Delroy Lindo, David Harewood, even Daniel Kaluuya has kind of spoken about it, that they didn't find the opportunities here, they needed to go to the States to sort of make it. um I guess, are we in a place now in the UK where actually we do sort of have our space where we can create? Like, I know we've got, I don't know, three or four
mm.
kind of prominent black film directors sort of releasing films this month or within this like 4 or 5 week span. So clearly there's something of a shift is happening. And so um do is there still that need to look to the States, or to find or make it big in Hollywood, as it were, or can we exist without kind of going out there?
I feel like with it, with that again, it's a great question, and it's amazing to see. I think Pirates,
Yeah,
Boxing Day, all these films, being released this month, and I'm hoping everyone just goes out and supports them. Um, yeah, fantastic. Do I think? I mean, things are getting much. They're progressing here, but it's by all means not. Progression isn't a year or 2 years. I think progression is over a span of a number of years, um, and I think it's important to not, even though there has been that progression there,
hmm,
that um, it's not judged on a moment. Yeah, it needs to be more than a moment. It needs to be kind of set in stone, and that takes a long time. Um, as far as going out to the States, I feel like there's the States, but there's also there's an African market, there's a global market, there's an Asian market. I feel
yeah.
that it's whether actors or filmmakers or producers do that, um, there's not a problem. Do you know what I mean? And I feel like it's for those that are staying here or mixing between the both. That's great. So it's a tricky one to answer your question, because it is.
Hmm.
Do I feel like creatives don't need to go to America? I think creatives can just do whatever they like. To be honest, I think
I like
again,
that. Yeah.
but it's true. Like the idea of kind of things have changed here.
Mhm.
Um, they have for a moment, but it's way too early to say that it's like set in stone change.
Mhm.
These things did, it takes a long, long time. And it's continually changing because things are always a response to markets. They're a response to how they do at the box office. So it's kind of, yeah, that's a tricky one. I think creatives can just do whatever they want, whether it's America, whether it's Africa, whether it's the UK.
Mhm.
And I never feel like there should be any restrictions on anyone or anything.
Okay. And just finally, you have a new film you're working on, or that's in sort of development.
Yeah,
Stag.
yeah.
What can you tell us about the film?
I'm not going to say much, but what I will tell you is that so I'm working with Joe again, who I worked with on my debut feature film, Sweet Boy, and we learned a lot through that, and also through Scales. I think for me, again with Scales, I'm proud of it, but there's a lot that still we needed to work on, which I think with this one, I'm very excited about it. So yeah, we're in development at the moment. It's a feature that I'll be directing next year, and it's also a horror. The genre is a horror, so
Okay.
yeah, I'm extremely excited about that. But it's got many layers to it. Um, it's something that I think is it's very, very powerful. Um, and yeah, I'm just very, very excited to kind of we're speaking with execs at the moment. They're reading the script. We're just finalizing getting producers on board, so it's all coming together.
Mm.
But yeah, that's what I'm working on next year, along with possibly another short. But at the moment, my focus is just on this feature and directing it next year.
Awesome. Well, Anthony Vander, thank you very much for your time. And once again, welcome to the Big Picture Film Club. It's been great having you on. And yeah, so for those who want to see Finale, it will be coming out next month, January or
Yeah,
December or.
it might. I mean, with it, we may be putting it out towards the end of this month. So you know, stay tuned for that.
Cool.
If not January, definitely. We really want to share it with everyone. A lot of people have been asking about it. The feedback for those who have from those who have seen it, it's been fantastic. So yeah,
Awesome. Well, thank you very much once again.
thank you, thank you.